Like if it was just like I could put a controller in their ass and play, man, this team is fucking going 82-0, nigga. Like what are we talking about? Like get this, Kobe averaging 85 and fucking Shaq is averaging 42, and we win every
Why
single
is
game.
that such a dramatic difference?
Because y'all know when I used to play 2K, I used to wild out with Kobe. Yeah. So come on, why not playing just like that? Dog walking these motherfuckers.
But okay, considering we have them as more than a 60-win team, I think their stat lines aren't going to change very much.
Yeah,
I think the stat lines should be pretty comparable, considering pace. Because that's the main reason why we've been altering stat lines is the pace has just been so much faster before this point.
Yep.
And we'll probably have to do it again later.
Yeah, and the change in the league for those 5 years isn't big at all. Like the change in like rules or anything, like there's not that much significant changes.
Very true.
Also, like 29 at that point in time, like I don't think, because remember in the 90s, like especially this part of the 90s,
right,
averaging 30 is like an anomaly. Like MJ, only
let's
MJ and who was it? MJ and Karl Malone averaged 30.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like at this point, it's MJ and then it's gonna be Shaq and Kobe. Boom.
Yep. I think you're right. I definitely agree with that, and I think that's the case for them being a 65-win team. Is there are some 1-2 punches in this league right now, but that number is pretty small. Like there's probably
who
like
is
you
it?
Said,
there's
no.
I don't think so. I mean,
I
guess
Bulls,
it's Scotty and
the
Pippen.
Jazz, and the Sonics with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp at their absolute peak. Like that's what got them to 65 wins, and they had a lot of guys who could shoot the ball.
Yeah.
So like
Shaq
that's what got
Kobe
them in that position. But
is
David Robinson mostly by himself. Barkley's got a lot of help, right? But he's kind of towards the end of his run.
Is this when they go to he doesn't go to Houston yet. I think that's like 98 or 99.
It's definitely after this year. This is one of his better seasons after 30 for Barkley, but he's got a lot of help. Kevin Johnson, Michael Finley. There's a couple of good guys, but no solid number 2 star.
Yeah.
That outside of the 3 teams I named, like, and I guess the Magic with Shaq and Penny, but I'm kind of like Xing them out in my head because we're bringing Shaq here, the Shaq and Kobe Lakers here. So in my head, I'm trying to cross them out as much as I can, but that's true. But it's a lot of solo stars putting in work and carrying their teams, and I think in terms of winning in the West, having those 2 guys be 2 and 3 in scoring here would be,
and they would easily. I think at this time they'd easily be the best 2 players in the Western Conference at that point. Top 3 players in the league.
I definitely think it's an argument. Shaq for sure. And that's what happened when he leaves the next year. It's literally what happened when he leaves the next year. It's him and David Robinson. And what are you laughing at?
I'm just like, Shaq, I know Shaq for sure, but like Kobe for sure too. I don't see a guard better than Kobe besides MJ here. Like that's not even close.
2001 Kobe, yeah, you're probably right. There's not a lot of competition here at the 2 guard position. So like it's definitely fair. They would definitely be 2 of the top 5 best players in this league, and they're playing at a pace that works for this league. So I could see that happening. But we run into the same problem we always have when we talk about MVP, which is they are going to be 2 of the top 5 guys, and it almost never happens where that works itself out. It's almost like they take votes from one another.
Mm-hmm.
But hypothetically, 2000 Shaq and that roster. Let's say they get to the same thing, like 65 to 67 wins that they got to that 2000 year.
They're getting 70 wins.
That's what I was going to say.
That team could go 70 wins. 100%.
Okay. Well, then even so, to that point, does Shaq manage to steal MVP from MJ in that situation?
Yeah. I mean, I would think if they could get comparable wins, I think them both eclipsing 70 makes it a big deal. Because remember, the record before this was 69, right?
Yes.
So let's say if MJ gets 72, Shaq gets 71. I don't know.
Right.
I think
or 70, like we said. 70 is fine.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, whatever. Yeah. And then I would say Shaq because it's just too much. It's just like the 30 plus like whatever. How much was it? It was like 30, 15, 14 and some shit. Like,
right.
And I think the way that offense was flowing too, like at that point, is better than this Bulls. The Bulls it's just gonna be two different aspects, right? Because it's gonna be more of an offensive game for the Lakers.
Two totally different styles.
Defense. Yeah.
Ironically, having the same system, two different styles of that system. But I'll still give it to Jordan mainly because of context and storyline. Under those situations.
That's not even fair. Shaq doesn't have a context of the storyline. He can't. This is hypotheticals. We're going straight up off of...
I think that's always mattered for a guy like Michael Jordan, and it would matter here. He's coming back. This is his first year back after getting beat by the Magic. There was a lot of storyline going into this.
But he was clearly the best player in the league at this point, right?
MJ,
Yeah, and I don't think... I think he's clearly number 2 at this point.
But I think at the start of this season, I think it was more up in the air than it is at the end of this season. Considering what had happened in the playoffs the year before. So I don't know.
So we want to add context. There were people
absolutely thinking this year that those Magic were going to make it. Yeah. Like, we talked about it during the Legacy Breakdown. Available in the archives. They literally had the best 1-2 punch in the league with Hardaway and Shaq.
Yep.
And I definitely think that the only thing stopping Shaq from getting there would be like a storyline of Michael Jordan coming back more than Shaq finally taking the crown. Like, I guess it works both ways, but like I could still see Jordan getting it just because.
But you using
the dick sucking was at an all-time high.
You're using the Magic storyline, right? We got to use that Lakers storyline, which is...
No, that's what I'm saying. Right. Shaq finally getting to the top and taking his crown in that 2000 season.
But the whole thing is that 2000 season, the amount of the dominance in that season is just we hadn't seen that since probably a lot of people would say since Wilt, right? That level of dominance.
Yeah, and especially from that position.
I think both this 2000 and this 2001 Shaq is better than this Jordan. These next 3 years of Jordan, Shaq is better. This Shaq is way better than this Jordan, in my opinion.
Way better is interesting.
Yeah, way better.
Better, I'm okay with that argument. Head and shoulders, that's tough. That's tough for me.
All right, so to put this into perspective for all you Jordan cock eaters that's in the comments right now, because I know for sure it's there, we're going to talk about the next 3 finals for Shaq are arguably the greatest finals performances in NBA history.
We talked about
this
that.
Shaq. This Jordan is by far his worst finals performances throughout his entire
particular
career.
year. But that's not... we're talking about regular season stuff here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but specifically this year that we're talking about right now is his worst finals performance.
Yeah, so in my opinion, that's where it's way better for me. Because I already think Shaq is better in a regular season aspect.
Okay.
And then if we go into the playoffs, it's even worse. So
I just think MJ's basketball IQ is definitely higher. His know-how is a little bit higher. And, he's got that bloodthirsty desire to dominate and win. And that's sometimes called into question with Shaq, especially when we're talking regular season awards.
If we're talking about...
That's the case I'm trying to make.
If we're going 2000 Lakers Shaq, I think he should be MVP. 2001 Lakers, obviously, Jordan should stay MVP. But to me, in that scenario, Jordan is the second best player in the league.
Right.
Even in 2001.
That's what I was trying to say. So it doesn't matter which Shaq we were taking there. Yeah. That's how you felt, which is fine. Yeah. I can understand how you feel about that. I just don't think it's miles and miles away. That's where I would... That's a lot. That's a big chunk. Yeah. That's not a whole bottle of Head and Shoulders, though. So I guess that's true.
All right. I definitely wouldn't say head and shoulders, but I would say he's to me he's firmly the best player in the league, and the only people arguing are people who are Jordan fans, because that's crazy to me to think that this Shaq isn't significantly better than that Jordan.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's worse. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not sitting here going Shaq's way worse of a player. I'm just saying I think the conversation for best player in the league is a much broader topic. Instead of being concentrated on one player, I think some of it goes to Kobe. I think some of it goes to Jordan. I think some of it will go to Shaq. It's kind of how it was in his time anyways. I'm sure Hakeem's going to get some love coming off 2 chips. It's fair. All these people could be in the conversation. And I think that conversation gets bigger with those 2 guys, for sure. I just can't go as far as you're willing to go, which is fine.
I'm definitely going there, for sure.